everyone. Happy Friday. I have got my fabric all picked out and ready for tonight. I've even starched it and I'm going to be cutting it tonight and labeling it so that next week we can get busy sewing. I want to talk to you about the project that we're going to be working on tonight, or for the month of February. It is Cozy Cabin. This is by Modernly Morgan. It is unfortunately not a free pattern, but I'm looking at the instructions and it is well worth the price of purchase. So if you would like to sew this with me, you are more than welcome to. But as always, Friday nights are not, it's not required that you do the project. You are welcome to just sit here for the company, bring your own project, maybe a cup of hot cocoa, nice glass of ice water, and sit in front of the computer and just listen, enjoy the chat, whatever works for you. This month, I'm going to be working on cozy cabins, and I just want to kind of touch on that for a minute. I did put a poll in the chat, so I'm really curious to see how that turns out, if the poll's even still there, to be honest. A few months ago, I switched my format to one where I started working on one project over the course of all the Fridays in that 1 month. And that wasn't done for any reason other than just to help me not spiral about what I was going to do every single Friday and give me a chance to actually start and finish a project. And I felt like if I committed to doing those every Friday night, then not only am I bringing you content, you could sew along with me if you wanted to, but also I'm able to finish some of the things that I want to do. So speaking of finishing, we need to talk about January. Hanging up behind me is the Star Cabins quilt from Center Street Quilts. This quilt is what we worked on in the month of January. Now, if you did the sew along with me, or maybe you just showed up for the community and you're normally here on Friday nights, you'll know that a couple of the Fridays, actually the last 2 weeks, have been a little spotty for me. So I just want to touch on that really quick. 2 weeks ago, I had something come up where I had to push my Friday night live stream to Saturday. And then last week, I had another family thing come up last minute that required me to either push it to Friday or just cancel it. And unfortunately, I was teaching a class on Saturday and it was just going to be too much to do everything on Saturday. So I made the executive decision to give myself a Friday night off last week. And I am so grateful that you have allowed me that opportunity to take some time, take care of my family. But I am back, I am ready to get started, and I cannot wait to put Cozy Cabin together. Cozy Cabin is linked in the description box down below if you want to pick up the PDF, print it off, and pick out your fabric. There are 3 sizes that come with this pattern: the baby, which will be 40 inches by 40 inches, the throw size, which is 60 inches by 60 inches, and then the bed size, which is 80 by 80. It's a very small amount of fabric to put this together. I'm going to make the throw size, and that throw size only needs 12 fat quarters and about 1.25 yards of background. I grabbed some yardage off of my shelf. This is actually grunge paper white. I think this is going to look really good with the fabric that I chose. I did grab about 2 yards, but I know I'm not going to need all of that. And then I was thinking about, what fabric do I want to pull to work with? I didn't want to buy fabric. I wanted to work with the fabric that I already had available to me. So I went into my stash. Oh my goodness, I'm going to sneeze. Look at the light. I went into the stash and I found a fat quarter bundle. I'm trying to find the tag. I know what the fabric is. I did save it good. I went into my stash and I picked up My Mind's Eye. It's a line called Gingham Gardens. It's by My Mind's Eye, and this is a really, not really old, but old for me line. I think it came out in 2020 or 2021, somewhere around there. I picked up a fat quarter bundle and I have been hoarding this ever since. And I'm going to commit to putting this into a quilt. But I only need 12 fat quarters, which means I have all of this extra that I can play with in another project. Let me take care of the nose because I'm going to sneeze. I guess not. I guess not. What's that saying when you think you're going to sneeze? Are you coming into money? Is that what your nose itches? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I didn't. So excuse me if I do sneeze while we're doing this. I'm going to try not to, but we'll see what happens. Before I start cutting up my fabric, I want to show you the choices that I made for my fabric pull. First, we're going to go with the rejects. And I'm using this verbiage very lightly because these are all still really pretty, but they're not going to work for this project. The reason why they're not going to work for this project, number one, is because I need 12 fat quarters. And I wanted to make sure I had 4 different colors represented, which meant I could only have 3 of the 4 colors that I went with. So there's a pile over here that I'm showing you that I probably would have pulled, except I had enough of that color already, so I couldn't grab it. Then this pile over here are the fat quarters that I chose not to use, either because it was too big of a print, or I felt like the background from the fabric would disappear into the background, or it was directional. And so all of these are the ones that I get to play with in a future project. We're just not going to play with tonight, but I wanted you to be able to see how beautiful this fabric is. I mean, part of the fun of quilting is just seeing what the fabric looks like, am I right? I love this gingham. So those are the fat quarters that I did not choose to work with. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 fat quarters. That's going to be a lot of fun for a future project. Probably could do a whole nother one of these actually. I'm just going to stack these out of the way. I'm going to show you what I did choose. First, we have my Moda Paper White fabric. This is grunge paper white. You can see that it's got a little bit of texture. It has a bit of a distressed look to it. That's what makes grunge a little bit different, is it gives you this distressed look, which allows it to act as a blender, but still give you a little bit of motion and a little bit of texture to your quilt. So it's not so flat in the background. And then to go with that background fabric, I pulled these fat quarters. I wanted pink represented, so I got 3 fat quarters of pink. I had to go with that gingham because I absolutely love it. And then I wanted green in there too, so I pulled 3 fat quarters of green. These have all been starched and they're ready to be cut and labeled. I also wanted to grab yellow because I felt like that had a good contrast with the other colors that I pulled. So I pulled 3 fat quarters of yellow. Oh, look, it was 2021. That's when the line came out, 2021. There is a feature, by the way, that I am testing out, guys, and I see there's a question in there already. In the chat, there's a little white bubble that says, ask me anything about getting started with a blah, 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 blah. And so if you click on that, you should be able to ask a question, and that's going to bring the question directly to a screen that is only showing me questions that are asked that way. And I'm hoping that this will help me not miss those questions. One of the questions that's out there already is from Linda, and she was asking, so is Friday nights not for everyone anymore? And the answer to that is no. They are always for everyone. Whether or not you choose to do what I'm working on is completely up to you. This is the last color that I picked, by the way, and it's the blue because it's my favorite color and I definitely had to have it in there. I got a darker one. I did go with a bigger print, but I felt like it was going to read more as a blue. And then I've got this blue that has the same print as a couple of other colors. So these are the fabrics that I'm going to work with, and when I lay them out on top of my background, I think we have got a palette that's going to look pretty darn good. Let me know what you think. I'm going to try to scoot these over a little bit more so you can see the entire 12 count selection all laid out. Mary, I see your message in the chat. You don't even have to ask a question. Just if you click those three dots and whatever that option is, when you click the three dots on the white bubble, it brings that comment directly into another window that is isolated just to people putting stuff in there that way. So anyway, yeah, that's my palette. My Mind says, great choices. That definitely screams Becca. It sure does. So we're going to start cutting our fabrics up, and this is actually going to be a bit easier than it could be. And that's because of the way the designer, Morgan, has put the cutting instructions together. Now, I don't want to give you the cutting instructions because, again, this is a paid pattern, but I do want to tell you that she has given us the same cutting instructions. It's the same diagram, the same number that you're going to need from each of your fat quarters. And then she laid out the fat quarter, drew it, and then illustrated how you're going to cut all of that down. And so I'm probably going to focus on cutting 3 fat quarters at a time since they're all the same cuts. And I'm going to have a pile of the pink, a pile of the yellow, a pile of the green, and a pile of the blue. And then on the next page, there is no diagram for this, but she walks us through how to cut our fabric for our background. So let's start by getting our fat quarters cut. So I'm going to take out the pink. And then spread it out. Now in the pattern, the illustration has the fat quarter laid out so that it is 21 across and 18 up. So I want to make sure that I got my fabric oriented the same exact way. I'm going to lay it down so that it is 18 up and 21 across. Try to get that pretty close. And by stacking the 3 layers together, this is going to allow me to cut a little bit more efficiently. I can definitely get through 3 layers just fine with my rotary cutter and still have accurate cuts, but at the same time, I'm able to do more than just 1 fat quarter. Jackie's got a question. She says, Becca, do you know what size the finished blocks finish at? Looking for blocks for a table runner. So we'll talk a little bit more about this next week as we're putting the blocks together, but I do want to show this to you because what she's done is kind of fun. We're not putting this one block together. We're putting that quadrant together. And that quadrant is the same as all, like it's the same block 4 times. You're just turning them. I believe that this will be 10 and a half inches squared. So once you take the ½ inch out for the seam allowance, 10, 10, 10, 10, it's going to be 20 by 20. 10 plus 10 is 20. 10 plus 10 is 20. But once you see the technique, if you're savvy enough, you could probably follow the same technique with different cuts of fabric to do the same thing in a smaller block. Okay, I'm just going to start cutting and paying attention to the chat and saying hi to people as they're chatting with me. I do want to set this somewhere where I can see it, but out of the way where you cannot because it is copyrighted and I'm not supposed to duplicate it for others. All right. So ignore me while I do the thing. One more thing. I'm going to fold this in half one more time because my ruler is not going to go that whole 18 inches. It's only going to go 12 of it. And I want to make sure that my cuts are, my fabric is fully under the ruler when I take my cut. And so for that reason, I'm just going to fold this whole pile very gently right in half, just like this. That it does mean I'm going to cut through 6 layers, but I think we're going to be okay. Okay. I am going to cut this a little bit bigger so I can true it down if I know I'm not. I'm not going to cut it a little bit bigger. No, because I just looked at the diagram and we're going to need every bit of this fat quarter, so let's not make a mistake. I think we're just going to do it the way we probably would have done it before. I think to be safe, I'm just going to go get my really big ruler. Yeah, I normally don't. Wait, is this one? Is this? I think this is 16 by 6. Yeah, it's still not going to be big enough. Ooh, close though. I'm going to get my 6 by 24 Creative Grids ruler. I normally don't work with this, but in this case, like I said, I want the ruler to be completely over the fabric so I don't have to shift things around. I can just do my cut. So we're gonna do it this way. All right, let me get my first cut out of here. I'm going to make sure that all of my selvages are cut off. Okay. Pull this down so it's completely on top of my mat. I want to have extra space to be able to slide that ruler through. Yes, I am going to cut the selvage off. I'm trying to line it up so that I'm not losing any of the fabric. I've got all the selvages lined up right on top of each other. So if I lift this up and show you, you can't see the selvage here, but that is selvage. And then underneath it, I've got 2 more pieces of fabric and the selvages are lined up with each other. And so that selvage looks like it's almost an inch wide. So I'm just going to take an inch off of the side. There we go. Now we're going to start subcutting our fabric down. That's going to be for the first chunk of cuts. This one is going to be for the next chunk. Then this is going to be for the third. And this will be, I need 2 more. I need to make 1 more cut and then that last one. So this is going to be right here. And then this one should be right at that. Look at that. This is how much of the fat quarter we're going to be using. Now there will be some waste out of these pieces. You'll see it as we start to do some subcutting. I just want you to be aware of that, but it does not leave a lot of margin for error. That's why in this case, it's really good to follow that diagram. Okay. I'm going to subcut these down and then I will start labeling them. Turn this way so I can get a good grip on things. This is going to be cut in half. Okay, and I can use my smaller ruler for it, so it's going to be a bit easier to manipulate the cutting. When I'm cutting this, I am making sure that those nice cuts are directly on the lines on my ruler so everything stays nice and straight. And then over here on the end, because this isn't a cleaned up cut, the layers are all kind of scattered. So I'm going to come over just a bit more than what I would have cut so that I can cut that piece off. So once I make sure that the lines on my ruler are directly on top of the straight edges that I cleaned up, then I can go right through this, separate those pieces. I'm going to turn it around and clean it up on the other side. And this time I'm going to measure it where the fabric is supposed to be cut down to. And then this is just waste. And then I will subcut this into what it wants me to cut. Set these here. Now this one is going to be the same thing, only it's a bit longer. I know that this edge here is nice and cleaned up because I just cut through it, so I can use that to measure the accurate size. Make sure that my lines on my ruler are on those nice clean edges, and then I'm going to cut this off. And look at how much That's it. In fact, I'm going to show you, pull them all out when I'm done, just how much of that pink is left over from the fat quarter. You're going to, like, in this, you need to be careful. You need to be careful with what you're doing. Definitely follow the layout. I'm going to stack all of these together. Let me get this window moved so I can see what's going on over here. Somebody asked in the chat, how do I stop agonizing on which color or pattern on the material goes together? Is it better to go with a designer set? So if you pick something that a designer put together, obviously that is going to be easier because they've already curated and done all the thinking for you. However, you don't have to. My rule of thumb is when I pick out a fabric, let's say for example, let's say I pull this fabric out, right? If I want to find fabric that goes with this, if I'm looking for a blender, I'm going to look at this and find a color that speaks to me. I love my blues. So my eye would probably be drawn to this blue flower right here. And then what I would likely do is start auditioning fabric next to it to see if this pulls that blue out. As long as you're playing with the colors and the values, they're going to go together. And at the end of the day, even if that color might not be represented in here, because obviously these two fabrics don't have the same color in them. They're completely different colors and they read more as solids. They look good to my eye. I like how they look. And the reason why I think they look good together, the reason why I think they work together is because they're the same shade. They've got that same saturation level. Hi, Brenda. Yes, I got the message. Thank you. She said, hi, I'm Brenda. Did you get this message? I love your channel. Hi, Brenda. I definitely got the message. Let me just make sure that I'm not going to mess this up. All right, there we go. Okay, I'll cut through here. Clean up that other edge. And now I will subcut this into the pieces it wanted me to subcut. Whoops, turn the ruler around. I can't wait to put this one together. It's going to be so nice. All right, and then the next one's going to be just a little bit bigger than this. So we'll set these over here. Just like that. This is my excess. Turn and subcut. And I will stack these all on top of each other. They are the same size. Just like that. Now this piece over here is going to be a little different. I need to get 3 chunks out of this one. And it looks like there's plenty of wiggle room according to the diagram. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm getting accurate cuts. There's one. I'll flip it around. There we go. That's one. Next month in March, The project that we're going to pull to work on is going to be from a free pattern. Speaking of free patterns, if you didn't see it already, I did upload a video this week with a bunch of different resources on where you can find some good quality free patterns. It is not an exhaustive list. It's just a list of 10 that I like, but there are plenty more options out there. So if you haven't checked out that video, that might be worth taking a little look at a bit later. All right, this one I'm going to get 3 chunks of squares. Oops, they got a little skewed, so I just want to rake them back into place with my fingernails so that everything is nice and lined up, just like that. Okay, I'm going to do my 3 stacks of squares, and then my oddball rectangle. One more stack of those squares, because that was 2. And then that goes here. That's a lot of extra we'll get to have from this. These will be nice scrap pieces. I'll cut this. And then from this, we're going to do the same thing, except when I cut those rectangles, I'm going to cut out 2 piles of them. Actually, I can multiply the number of cuts that I need by the measurement, cut off 1 chunk, and then subcut that down. Go down here. So I have been trying to drink more water lately, and I love myself a nice insulated cup because I like my water cold. So I like to put ice in there and then fill it up with water. And I've noticed that some of my insulated cups, even though I wash them, even though I keep them clean, and I try to only put water in them, they've had like a metallic taste after a little while. And I wasn't sure what was going on. So I looked online, and apparently that's a thing. I don't know if you guys knew this, but it's apparently a thing that the water that sits inside your cup, over time, the metallic taste or scent can kind of get down in there and make the water taste a little different. And so I found a hack online that said, if you give it a spa with a little bit of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and fill the cup with water, and then just let it sit for like 15 minutes and then wash it really good, it helps. And I'm here to tell you, I did that. And it helps. It definitely helped. Okay. Now I need... Okay, yep, this, got it. This is what I'm looking for. All right, that goes here. So I should have 3 sets of this square. I should have 3 of those, 3 of these, and 3 of those. This is my extra. That's some good extra. So these are all the pieces that I needed from that fat quarter. Each one of these stacks represents 3 of the same cut. I'll kind of lay it out for you so you can see a bit better. I got 3 of each one of those cuts out of 1 fat quarter using the diagram that is in the pattern. This is over here. This is my extra fabric that is scrap and I can use in another project. So I've got a nice little chunk, but then all of this is like crumb piecing. Some of it you could put into a scrap bin for sure, but this is what is extra. So you can see I really used up quite a bit of that fat quarter. This is a scrap that's probably about 2 by 3, so I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to keep those. Probably going to keep those. This piece, I'll go ahead and keep that because the fabric's really pretty. Now this piece is probably only about not even an inch wide, so I'm not going to keep that. Anything that's smaller than an inch, I'm just going to discard because I'm not going to use it. But these pieces I'm going to hold on to because if I do happen to have a miscut, I can kind of go back into this and use it if I need to. And if I don't, these would be really fun pieces to use for my tiny piecing. So this is what I'm going to need to do for all 12 of my fat quarters. And remember, I said I'm going to do these in color families. So my pinks are done. And now I'm going to move on to my next color in the stack. I'm just going to stack all these up so that I have them nice and tidy and ready to go. Okay. Put this here. Now I'm going to pull out, I guess we're going to work on the green next. Hi, Becca, and everyone else in the chat from Joan Reed. She says, happy Friday and the start of the Olympics. What was that today? Watched the opening ceremony and it was great. Did anybody else watch it? I obviously did not because I didn't even know that was today. I'm going to take this and put it so that the selvage edge is on the left-hand side. I'm going to line up my selvage edges because I want to cut all those off before I start subcutting. Hello, Susie from Wyoming. How you doing? Joanne Thomas is here and watching from Missouri. Hello, Joanne. There we go. Just like that. I'm going to smooth it out. Use my big ruler to do all my strip cuts, and then I'll come in and do my subcuts with my smaller ruler. First, we're going to cut off the selvage, which we said before was about an inch. Make sure my cutting mat is all the way on the table. Now I'll do my subcuts. This is going to be for the first chunk we do. Mine says, I love it when a pattern writer has the cutting diagram. One less thing to worry about. Normally I'm like, no, I don't need you to tell me how to do that. But in this case, especially where there's not a lot of margin for error, I actually really am appreciating that they do it. And I'm wondering if maybe that's something I should start incorporating into my own patterns. It's not really that hard to do. And sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? right. Now I can start subcutting that down. That's the hardest part of this, is using that big ruler. Oh, Sherry, she's asking how my birthday was. So for those of you that don't know, this past Wednesday was my birthday. Thank you for asking, Sherry. It's apparently not over. The celebration is apparently not over. So my husband on Sunday, it was the first, he handed me a gift and he said, "Here, this starts the 7 days of Becca-ness." And I went, "The 7 days of Becca-ness?" So for my birthday this year, he has been giving me a little gift every day. On my birthday, though, I got a pretty nice gift. So yeah, that's been kind of nice to have something like that to look forward to. Unfortunately, tomorrow is my last day of my birthday week, but he's going to end it with one more gift, and we're going to get to go to Crabs for lunch. So can't argue with that. That's a good time had by all. Mary sent me a box of goodies too, and I want to just kind of point this out really quick. I don't know if you guys can see, it's really small, it's very dainty, but one of the gifts that she gave to me is this really pretty necklace from Disney World. It's got a little Mickey on it, and it's too far away to show you, but maybe I'll post a picture of it to the Facebook group. I absolutely love it. I've been wearing it, and I'm really excited because I used to have to get like the really long chains, and now I can get the chains that come standard and they fit me. So I was really happy to pull it out of the box and be like, I know I can wear this. Kate says, I have a question for you. Did you do a video on how to finish off the block of the month from 2025? No, Kate, I didn't. But I did post a pattern for that. There's not a video for that. I apologize. But there is a written up PDF on the website. Randy, hey Randy, she said, did you make your apron? Nope, I didn't. My sister and I bought the same apron when I was visiting her in Michigan. That we got this during the Michigan Shop Hop. I cannot wait to see these blocks come together. I cannot wait. And I feel like these fat quarters are going to be cut up in no time at all. It is. Alicia said she had heard hers on yesterday. It is the best layout for a pattern. Are you talking about the apron? Yeah, the apron. This apron, it's one of those that crosses in the back so you don't have any ties on you. I've seen these online. I've seen the patterns for them online. Unfortunately, as a well-endowed girl of a plus size, those patterns never yield an apron that crosses in the back like this that covers everything. So the goal that Alicia and I had, we spent the money on these and we got them. He even has pockets on it. It's so cute. My goal was to take this and use it to kind of make a template so that I can make this same type of pattern out of different fabric. I just haven't done it yet. And then I know that if I do that, I would love for it to be a PDF that you could print off, but I don't know how I would get paper like that scanned in, because it would be a really big piece of paper, and I would have to figure out from a logistic standpoint, how could I break that down so that you could print it on your home printer, tape the pages together, all that other stuff. Because I don't know how to do that. Hey Melody, welcome back. And thank you for the birthday wishes. We will be doing a Facebook share tonight, so this is your opportunity. If you did the Star Cabins quilt with me and you want to show it off, if you are working on this project with me and you want to show your fabric choices off, or if you just worked on something else, or maybe you have a fur baby you want to show off, those pictures are more than welcome too. We'll probably get to that around 9:30 or so once I get the fat quarters cut up. So go ahead, go out to the Facebook site and post your pictures, and we'll do a little bit of show and tell a little later tonight. What one was that? Okay, good. Then that means this one is going to be this. Leanne's in the chat asking people about how about the cookies I baked this afternoon. But she said she doesn't have enough for the whole chat. Still need to make those Ranger cookies. Feel like I'm going to keep saying that. Pam says, I made the Grace crossback apron. It comes in small to 3X and it fits my 3X body nicely. Hey, Pam, could you send a link to that at info@sobecca.com so I can take a look at that pattern? I've been looking for a good plus size pattern for the crossback. And I will forget it by the time the live stream is over. Where do we find the PDF for the 2025 Quilt Along? This is from Cheryl Christopher. It is on the website on the same page with all of the other patterns for the block of the month. Just go to sobecca.com and Alicia can probably get you the link directly to that page if you need it. Oh, Deb, thank you. She's been a member for 16 months. Awesome. Oh. Okay. Didn't think I went through all those layers. There's that one. This is extra. And now this is going to be 3 more squares and 2 more sets of that rectangle. Looks like the PDF isn't on the website, so we've got some work cut out for us this weekend to make sure it gets posted and uploaded and ready for everybody. Probably just fell through the cracks. I know it's on the website. Maybe it just didn't get published. So we'll make sure we get that fixed by the end of the weekend. Thanks for asking, Kate. And Cheryl. Now my green family is all cut and ready to go. So I'm just going to stack these up just like I did with the pinks. I'm going to move on to the blue. Okay. Making a bit of a mess over here. Are you even really quilting if you don't make a mess, though? I mean, for real. Are you? I'm going to say no. I'm going to do the blues. Oh, the blues are so pretty. Hey, Bill. You're welcome, Kate. She says, I was looking and looking. Thanks. You're welcome. Sorry about that. Oh, no. People are battling bronchitis in the chat. Listen. Joan, you kill me. We'll talk about that in just a moment. I just want to finish what I was started to say. I got sick right before QuiltCon. I got a cold, or not QuiltCon, I'm so sorry. I got sick right before Disney World. And truthfully, I don't think I was fully over it until I was into my Disney World trip a little bit. It was a couple weeks before Disney, like when I got sick, and I was still getting over it while I was at Disney World. And while I was gone, I called my husband. He couldn't answer the phone. Why? Because he lost his voice. He got sick, ended up going to urgent care after a couple of days. He had lost his voice. It wouldn't come back. It started off with just a cough. Mine was not that bad, but he ended up going to urgent care. They gave him antibiotics and steroids. My husband never goes to the doctor. He never takes medication. So that was my indication that he really was sick. And I bring all that up because I think they diagnosed him with bronchitis, maybe I'm wrong, but whatever it is, it's February and he still doesn't have his voice 100% back. We're questioning whether or not it's ever going to come back. It still cracks quite a bit. Sounds like a little boy going through puberty sometimes. I'm going to use it this way because this will make my life a bit easier. Sounds like some of you out there are also battling some illnesses. How do you keep your patterns displayed and easy to read? So do you mean when I'm sewing, like on air, or when I'm just sewing on my own? Because they're kind of two different things. When I'm sewing on air, I have a pattern stand. I actually don't have another one here. I keep a couple of them. I keep a really nice bamboo one. It looks like just like a book holder that sits on my desk, and I can put my papers in it and it holds it up and displays it for me. But I also have one from Purple Hobbies that's really portable, and it's small, and it kind of holds it curved for you. And I keep that in my my to-go bag so that when I'm at quilt retreats or classes, I can pull that out and it can hold up the paper for my pattern. If you want to check those out, I think they're called her pattern stands. They're on Purple Hobbies website. You can get them anywhere, but if you get them from Purple Hobbies website and you use the code SewBecca at checkout, you'll get 20% off. Get 20% off everything on her site with that code. Zaza says, do you like your Caterpillar folding mat? I just bought mine and I collect it when I'm over. I do. And I've got mine actually folded over there. Usually it's sitting here, but lately I've been using this Quilter Select one. It's on the other side of the room because I've been using it to open up and use on my cutting table. So I have a really nice big cutting surface. It's also another one that I feel is a good item to take to quilt retreats because you can make it as small as you need it to be and as large as you could possibly have it be held. Yeah, they do have a couple of new items on their website for sale. I will be showing off a few of those in an upcoming video. It probably won't be until March. But you can buy them right now, and that code is still available. That code does not expire. We'll work backwards this time. The Becca box is one of those, yes. Oh, the steroids makes you lose your voice, Sherry? Oh, no. Okay, let's see. This is going to be the small set of squares. Betty Bernina says, question, do you have a link for a paper pattern? I'd like to support your channel and I am sick of buying printer ink. Alicia, if you could look to see if I think this pattern, the paper pattern, is available on Fat Quarter Shop. If you could get an affiliate link and put it in the chat, that would be great. I also think there is an affiliate link in the description box, but I don't know if that's PDF or physically printed patterns. So Alicia can help you out with that link. Paper version for Fat Quarter Shop. Oh, do you not know what a Becca box is, Zaza? Listen, you need to go back and watch that video on all of the quilters the gift ideas for quilters, because shoot, I can show you what a Becca box is. I'll demonstrate it live on air. You guys are going to love this. If you are into hand piecing, this is the notion that you need to get. I worked with Heather Snow from Purple Hobbies to design this. I told her what I wished I had, and she went into CAD and drew it up and printed it out. Let me just finish cutting this because I will forget, and I don't want to forget where I'm at. So let me cut this. This is my extra. I'll put this in the pile. So this is the Becca box. This is from Purple Hobbies. We went through multiple iterations, and this is the final one, I believe. So it's a little box. It folds up like this. You've got a nice latch here. It slides over to the right, and when it does, it unlocks it so you can open it up. Now, mine's probably a little messy on the inside. When you open it up, it unfolds, and there's a place for everything in here. That's what I love about it. You have this little sheath that has a magnet in it that keeps your snips in it, and the sharp end goes in here so you don't have to worry about them getting loose, and you don't have to worry about them poking you either. You can get different variations, some that have spools, some that don't have spools, one that has a little nested area. So you'll want to look at the listing because she will customize it based on what you're looking for. There are different options you can choose. This has all of the options. So over here, you've got this little divot that is perfectly sized to hold a little container of thread gloss. On this wedge is perfectly sized to hold the Bowen needle threader because that's the needle threader that I use. I've got 2 spools, so I can hold 2 spools of thread there. And then right here, I've got a magnetic ridge where I can put about 5 or 6 different needles in here. And so it folds out nicely. This sets and can be my addition, like it's my workstation. Whenever I want to work on EPP, this is my box. It has all of my notions, nice and tidy and ready to go. And then when I'm done, I can just fold this back over, and then I can close it up. Now, if I leave it like this, then it lets me put a couple of extra little things in here that I might need. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this out. I bought a spool of black Invisafill, so I had silver, or gray rather, a cream and a black. So when I do this, I can just slide another little piece in there and it'll still close up nice and tidy. They come in a range of different colors. I love this. It is seriously, I have one here in my room that I keep like with my purse wherever I go, like my to-go bag. I keep one next to a table in the other room. I keep one at my workstation. Like they're all over the place, and they're just great. The only reason why they're all over the place is because I got multiple of them because I was testing them for her. You really probably only need 1, maybe 2. You don't need like 5. But yeah, definitely worth the buy. I don't know if anybody else is carrying those right now. I know she has them on her website, and you get 20% off with the code SOBECCA. Hey, Katie, how are you? I will be joining Katie tomorrow night, tomorrow evening at 4:30 Eastern time on her channel. We're going to continue working on our FPP butterflies. So if you want to sew with us tomorrow, that'd be lovely. We'd love to see you over there. She called it the Becca box and she was like, what do we call this? I was like, I don't care. She was like, well, I was thinking Becca box because that's what you, you designed. Like it was your idea and it was your problem that I solved. I was like, do you really want my name on your product? I was like, that makes it feel like I'm a little arrogant. She was like, no, no, no. It's just what I've been calling it. I was like, oh, okay. Well, if that's what you want to call it, that's fine with me. It was the working name and it just stuck. It looks like there is a question from, sorry, I'm just now seeing this, Mary. There was somebody in the chat asking, can you tell us about your rotary cutter? Sure. This is the Martelli ergonomic rotary cutter. I like it because it allows my wrist to stay parallel to my cutting surface. So my wrist doesn't turn and it doesn't get tired. Okay, those are done. Now we're going to do the others. So we will cut, oh, this got shoved off a little bit. We're going to cut there. You're welcome, Vicky. Vicky, right? Vicky. You're welcome. She said, thank you for telling us about the cutter. You're welcome. This one will be here. Go. Now I'm going to move on to the next wedge. And then after this, we're just going to cut the yellow and we'll be all done with the fat quarters. Come on, one thread. Probably is time for me to change my rotary blade. Margot says the Becca box is well designed and it's great for hexie work. That's what I use mine for. Have you quilted the January quilt? Nope, it's still hanging up behind me. It is pieced. I haven't had time to run the long arm for anything lately, but I'm hoping that maybe either this weekend or next weekend I can get it done. Plus, honestly, it's not going to matter too much. Oh, I was going to go back to this question. Somebody said, are you ready for the shenanigans with Tiffany? Okay, Alicia, I see your text. We'll take a look at that. Yes, I am. Actually, yes, I am. I am really excited for her to come. And she's already alluded to, you better have stuff for me to work on. So I'm making sure that I've got a pile of quilt tops for her to quilt. That might be one I let her quilt. She's going to be here in less than 2 weeks. Unfortunately, while she's here, when she's getting in the Tuesday before QuiltCon, and then Wednesday we're driving down, and then we come back the Monday after QuiltCon, and then I go back to work on Tuesday, and I don't get to work from home anymore, so I have to go into the office. So Tiffany's going to be here during the day by herself, looking for something to do. So I will be, I'm sure she will be making use out of that long arm. Okay. There we go. And then this is trash, but these are scrap pieces I might play with later. So we'll keep that. Last set of fat quarters, guys. Oh, wow. Alma says, I finally made it. Wondering if Becca and Ian know about APS Quilt Week in Paducah, Kentucky. The National Quilt Museum is having a display of 20 years of Tula Pink. Nope, that's actually the first time I've heard of that. Well, I mean, I've heard of Paducah, but I didn't know that the National Quilt Museum was going to do the 20 years of Tula Pink. Alicia's giving a shout out in the chat, asking you to send project suggestions in to my email address. We've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. If there is a project you'd like to see me do in a Friday Night Sew Along or in a dedicated tutorial, please send that project idea in to me in an email at info@sewbecca.com. We like to take those suggestions when we're considering new projects, and we are trying to figure out what free pattern we're going to do in the month of March. So if there's been a free pattern that you've been eager to do and you would like to work on it together, like I will be on camera, you will be in your sewing room, but we could sew it together that way, I'd be happy to host. Maybe. What if one of the months we don't do a quilt? What if we do a bag sew along? What do you guys think of that? I feel like we do a lot of quilts. What if we do something a little bit more practical? Aw, Melody, thank you so much. She sent in a $20 tip for some birthday coffee. Yum, yum, yum. I'll use that this weekend. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Stitch in Time says, I like the bag idea. Okay. Where can I find the Becca box? You can find it at Purple Hobbies website, www.purplehobbies.com. Use the code SEWBECCA when you check out to get your 20% off. Bags using zippers. I'm afraid of the zipper install. Not a problem. I would love a bag sew along. Okay, we could do a bag. I actually can show you how I make the zippered tote bag for my sister-in-law. I make her these all the time. We can talk through the pattern or the cutting instructions, all that stuff, because it's just something I do off the top of my head. Oh, several of you are saying, yes, would love a bag sew along. Okay, well, we'll put that down for March. We're going to do a quilted tote bag sew along, and we're going to break it down into easy to do chunks. I will figure out what that looks like, what those chunks look like. Think I'm going to use the same pattern that I use when I make the one for my sister-in-law. However, I may pull another pattern. It will, if I do, I will try to make it a free pattern because I feel like we've done 2 months of projects with paid patterns, and I want to be able to throw some free things in there too. Could you also do an Annie's bag? Anne-Marie, no. I've never done a by Annie bag. I've started several. I've not finished them. They intimidate me. I will eventually do one. It won't be in March though. But yeah, I'll put that on the list. If there's one specific that you have really been thinking about, maybe send that to me in an email, info@sobecca.com, and we'll see if we can take a look at it. The thing with the by Annie bags, the patterns, and you guys probably are thinking the same thing, the patterns are so many words that I literally pull it open, I look at it and I go, ooh, and then I set it down. I don't want to do it. I don't know if they're necessarily hard or I'm just intimidated or both. But before I do one in any video, live stream or pre-recorded, I want to get through one of her bags on my own because I still haven't even done that. You probably asked the same thing that everybody else asked for too. So if we did a poll for projects in the FB, oh, we could do a poll. Oh yeah, no, do it there. We don't have to do it here. Alicia's saying if we do a poll in the Facebook group, would you guys vote on them? Are you doing a studio session this month? Danielle said. I see there is a Zoom before you go to QuiltCon. Yeah, that Zoom is the VIP Zooms. We'll be doing that. No, there is no studio session this month. I'm taking this month off because it's packed. But I will be doing a studio session in March. So March, I'm doing in-person teaching at Holly Quilt Shop. We're going to teach EPP, so you'll get to see my Becca box in person if you go to that. And then the following week, for those that are unable to make it to Holly, Michigan for that class, we're going to do a virtual version of the same class. So that will be listed on the website probably within the next week or so. More to come on that. Don't forget, if you're a VIP member, you have a coupon code in your inbox that you can use to save 10% off of that class. We will not do a studio session in April, but we will come back together in May. There will be another studio session. So in 2026, the way I've got my studio sessions plotted out is there's going to be one every other month. So we did one in January. We'll do one in March, May, I believe July, and then they're out there, but just right now focus on March and May, March and May. Almost done cutting the fat quarter. So if you guys have not posted pictures of what you would like to share, now is the time, because in about less than 5 minutes, we're going to pop into that Facebook group and we're going to do a little screen share so we can share and show everything we've been working on over the past several weeks. The next one, that's right, okay. We're going to go with the bigger of the two first. How many of you go to the Quilt Expo when it rolls into your area of town? Put a heart in the chat if you go to this original sewing and quilting expo. Just curious. Candace goes, okay. Who else goes? Mary, this fabric has been starched. It has been starched. I did it off camera. Looks like Mary goes. Crafty Puerto Rican goes. Used to, but it's no longer in your area. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Michelle goes. Aw. Some people are saying it doesn't go. Hey, Janine, how are you? Some people are saying it's not in their area anymore. Well, the reason why I'm asking is because I'm going to have 2 quilts on traveling display at the Original Sewing and Quilting Expo. The first one is going to be Mufasa. It is my legit kit line that I did with Donna and a few others. And then the second one is a dragonfly quilt that I did with Donna offline. It was supposed to be online. I don't think we ever got it to that point, but that one will be on display too. So if you do happen to be able to go to the Quilting and Sewing Expo when it comes to your area, you'll have to take a minute to look for my quilts because they will be there. So excited about that. In fact, I've got to get them mailed off by the 19th of this month so they have them for the travel. So it's got to get mailed before I go to QuiltCon. And this is my last chunk to cut. Then we get to go looking facey book. Keep turning my ruler upside down. Last cut, guys. I do have my background to cut, but I'm going to deal with that offline. And I'll come back next week. I'll have my background already cut. I'll already have all this cut because we did this together. And then we're going to start sewing the blocks together. I'm really excited. I think the way I broke this project down is week 1 is doing the cutting. Week 2 is sewing the blocks. And week 3 is assembling the quilt. Janine says, I'm currently doing dishes. Boring, but if I do them now, I can fit more sewing time in tomorrow. All right, here are all of my fat quarters cut. Oh my gosh, I love it. You guys want to see them? You want to see how they all look together before we go to Facebook? I know you do. So we're just going to show you. Okay, here are all of my green pieces. Here are all of my pinks. Here are all of my blues. And here are all of my tan, yellow, gold, whatever. Yep, right here. See? Look how pretty. Yay. All right, let's pop over and see what you guys have been working on the past few weeks. So I'm in the Facebook group. Oops, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to go back this way. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh the screen. Pull this up here so I can see it. Just takes me a minute to get everything loaded. Sorry, guys. Okay. You need sandwich baggies for your pieces, Becca. Yeah, they're in the other room. They're over there. I'll deal with that later, but right now they're going to lay nicely on my table. So I'm going to refresh the page for Facebook just so anything that's out there I can get now. I'm also going to change this flag right here to new posts. So that's going to show the newest first. That makes sure that I'm getting through everything correctly. So the first thing that we have up is from Margot. Margot says she is almost done quilting this baby quilt. So we'll zoom in a little bit and see how that looks. Well, that's fun. Oh, very nice. She did some free motion quilting on that. Scrolling down to the next entry, this is from Katie. She says she's trying to get caught up since she has two. Yes, two on the way. Looks like she's working on her puzzle mystery quilt. That red fabric kind of reminds me of those old, actually the blue does too, like the bandanas. Oh, that's beautiful, Danielle. She said she finished her exchange block quilt top from a local quilt group that she joined. I like that. And it looks like such an easy block to do for an exchange, but it comes up with such a nice layout. Oh, that's a cool block. Nice. I like that. Eve says she's taking a class with her sister-in-law for her February birthday. The center is the panel and the pick is the quilt pattern. So this is the panel. Very pretty. There are the fabrics. And that is the quilt pattern that they're going to put together. Very pretty. Oh, here's another one. Danielle finished her Kona block of the month. This is a block of the month with Kona solids that they did. Hey, Linda. Here's another one from Danielle. She's putting binding on her heart quilt. I'm just going to peek right up there. How much snow do you got? Joanna is working on a baby quilt. Pretty star blocks. I'm a sucker for a good star block. Amanda worked on this quilt a week ago for a friend. She finished it. Pretty horses. Oh, Joanna did a fur baby picture. Leisha, look, it's her fur baby. He's got his little tongue sticking out too. Mary is showing a gift from her granddaughter. Oh, wow, did she do that? That's pretty. Yvette finished month 1 of Quilt Room. I will cut out month 2 tomorrow. Lots and lots of little pieces. Oh, that is so pretty. I love the fabric choices too. It looks a little bit like what I chose. Is it the same fabric? No, it's not, but it's the same color family. I thought it might be for a minute. Kendra says, I made this baby quilt this week and I'm working on the last row of long arming. Pretty colors. Oh, here, we've got some more pictures. Let's pop in and see what they look like. Oh, I love that panto. Oh, that back is so precious. Nicely done. Cindy made this for her new great-grandson. Little patchwork quilt with some baby elephants on it. Roberta is making her nieces, she's making my nieces, sisters, their adult quilts. They received baby quilts when they were born. I have the pink blocks made, sewing the purple blocks now. Marge says she only has the borders left to add. Look how intricate this sampler quilt is. I love, like, I have not done a sampler quilt like this where it's got different size blocks all like that. I want to. That's on my list. Oh, so pretty. Look, the log cabins are framing it in the corners. Oh, look, Alicia, there's another little fur baby. Thank you, Debbie. She says, happy belated birthday. Thank you. Cute little fur baby. Oh, here's another little fur baby. I know Bella Rose. Hey, Bella Rose. Tanya Sue says, my first stuffed animal I've made. It's a goose. Alicia, look, it's a goose. With a fur baby. Aw. Jerry says, I do believe I found my passion in quilting. I love those fabric. Kendra replied to it and said, welcome to the dark side. We iron over here. And Kelly says, I have been working in embroidering blocks that will be sewn into my very first quilt. I'm making 2, one for each of my grandbabies that are due in August. I want to do some embroidery, machine embroidery. That's a whole nother, that's a whole nother obsession, isn't it? Alma and Vicky, we got your request in. You should be able to post photos now. I'm going to go back to new posts, see what else new came in. Oh, wow. Victoria says this was started at the beginning of last year, but the top is now done. Oh, so pretty. Dr. Kelly P says, it is very much an obsession. Ooh, Janine. She says she's doing the dishes while doing the dishes I made while cooking this hamburger soup yesterday. Sewing is tomorrow. Hey, hamburger soup. Yes, please. Can I meet you halfway? Randy is working on some black work, on the black work pattern by Peppermint Purple. So pretty. And then we are back to Margot. We'll refresh again and see if anything new came in. Nope, that's it. All right, friends, we're going to call it here. I've got my fat quarters cut and ready to go. I'm going to leave them laid out right here because they're organized and I don't have something to label them with yet. I actually notice the pattern does tell me which ones are A, B, C, and D, but it's interesting because there are 2 cuts for A, 2 cuts for B, 2 cuts for C, and 2 cuts for D. So we'll see how I deal with all that. But I'm going to take off and go spend some time with my husband. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, get my fabric cut. I cannot wait to hang out with you next week where we're going to start sewing these blocks together. It's going to be a blast. Hope to see you next week. Bye, friends.